Good morning, good afternoon to our audience. It's a pleasure to have here again Jorge Luis Bravo. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we're going to go over some more case studies, how they have influenced his vision, your vision, Jorge Luis, your expertise in current projects today. Then we're going to explore how you could integrate artificial intelligence and certain cloud tools into workflows. How does it even look like? How can you extract real value from data input from the many sources it could potentially come from, and how does it work for you? So, anyways, it's a pleasure to have you here again, Jorge Luis. Please tell me, within the mining business industry, mining companies manage ton of tech documents. There's permits, reports. It's always a
Yeah.
challenge to manage and find key data or detect certain quality issues. So, what has been a challenge in your experience in data or quality issues that you've seen in the past?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Yes, the truth is that in many different kind of operations, finding the right information or analyzing, for example, engineering data, procurement, safety, quality across many different sources is a real challenge. I've seen companies where engineers or even data analysts, I mean, they spend hours or sometimes days through folders, to documents, even physical documents, trying to locate a specific information or a report or something. So that is a real challenge. But the good thing is that now with all the new technologies, I mean, that's where artificial intelligence, like work processes like a document analysis, they can actually assist you. They can help you to resolve all of these issues. Like imagine you have an architecture where you can get all of this information, even paper data. You just scan it, you throw it into an architecture, PDF, images, I mean, and then imagine this engine is already set that it can read information for you, it can organize it, and it can even highlight insights. It can understand inconsistencies or even summarize information from you. So the challenge is real, but the goal is, if we're talking about new technologies, definitely we are not talking about replacing people. We are kind of like giving the team kind of like a let's say like a digital assistant, something, some kind of like a
Tool.
agent.
It's an
Yes, exactly,
agent.
exactly. It's a tool that is just available for you, and it can understand all this information from you. It can even, as I said, summarize information directly in the insights and information that you are interested, and it's going to save you time. It's going to definitely improve quality, and it can give all your a team the time back that you need, so they can improve, they can innovate, they can do other tasks that right now, reality, they don't have time right now. So anyway, so that's the
Stakeholder stake,
challenges.
stakeholder engagement is really important too. Instead of being doing busy work in front of the computer, reading documents. I mean, it's a really an assistance. It's like a member of the team, not replacing anyone, who's there to help you with all the busy work. And really, it all comes down to there's so many different solutions that it could do. There's so many different ways we could take it, but it really comes down to, instead of presenting like a solution to the buyer, we instead take your specific workflow, your specific case, your specific project requirements and needs, and we tailor these solutions for your project. But
Exactly, yes.
then comes the question, like, how does this even work? And obviously, it's such a new industry right now that it's really hard to pinpoint, and it's been hard to pinpoint, but we're getting a lot better at finding exactly like how much it costs. But it really has nothing to do with how much it costs. What is the return on investment one can really see, including storage and compute cost? What could someone potentially see as a return on investment for a implementation of this solution?
Well, yeah, that's interesting because if you are applying a new technology, you definitely need to think about what is that going to do to me? I mean, what is the value? What I'm going to get out of that? So let's start from the basic, just processing information. Let's say you have an operation and you have like maybe 1,000 or 5,000 documents that you are normally need to validate and analyze on a monthly basis. So with an AI agent, definitely, if it's configured properly, I mean, we're talking about saving time of at least 2 to 6 full-time employees. I mean, which is time that they normally take by reviewing, extracting the data, validating the data, or the information or documentation. So the return of investment is at the beginning is just time, but I would go a little bit beyond that because when you are transforming your team into a digital execution, the return of investment goes into your team. Now they have time to be more specialized. They turn into being just people who are analyzing, doing just the manual work, into people that actually can help you in the business, can get back into you, get more insight, improve processing, because now we have tools. So that is actually something that is important to do. Uh, Technically
Very
speaking,
true.
yes, technically speaking, it's more like definitely we need to build all the automation. I mean, hosted in cloud services, and definitely the workload of these processes are very fast right now. So they can process documents in seconds. They can process information 24 by 7. So, well, uh, we
It's
are
true because
investing.
yeah, it's very true. These and we're just talking about document reading. You know, we're not even getting into optimization of storage or compute power or even any other sort of predictive analytics. We're just talking about documentation. So just for our audience to be able to understand a little bit more of kind of what this looks like how could we even begin to maybe explain what this agent looks like how does that even work, how does it analyze like what is the actual, how does this look like what is the role of
Yeah.
AI to solve these issues for me?
Well, yes. So how does look like is like in the area of AI. I mean, some people don't. I mean, you don't actually see how that it is there, but the reality is that it's building this ecosystem, it's building this infrastructure where you build different workflows on a specific tasks. So you say, for example, I want to do some, in this case, for example, we are talking about document analysis, document review. Just review information, summarizing, getting reports, and then the system will send back to you. It's like, for example, you have all these engineers submitting your data, and then at the end of the day, or maybe even later on the day, you can get a report saying, oh, yeah, you have all these different assessments or quality checks or safety inspections or engineering or permits or something. And then the system is going to summarize that for you. It's going to say, yes, I got all this information. I got this, for example, these safety violations or maybe some mismatches or some quality issues. So how does that look like? It's a new way of working. So it's kind of like you set up these engines behind the scenes, and then little by little, you start growing with them because little by little they become uh, more savvy in your work process, and then you can start asking for more insightful questions. So what's happened? So anyway, all I'm talking about is just agents like NLPs or LLMs configured in your infrastructure.
Right. So, could you explain please to the audience NLP and LLM, what are those, what's the difference between the both the two of those, like because it sounds like those are specific agents. that we're talking
Well, yeah,
about?
this is just an example. Let me explain a little bit like this. Imagine you have a certain amount of documents or files or even reports that you are getting in the field. So then the way we configure this architecture is that we understand of this information in a digital format, and we create these workflows. The workflow comes in, review all these documents from different sources. We can read that. Then the system enables these agents to translate those into actual data. It's a digitalized. Once it's digitalized, then the NLPs, these are the natural language processing agents. They can help you to identify, get structured information from those digital text. And it can, for example, get a list of your permits or your contractor names or even key phrases. It's something like a e-understand. But this is just kind of like a getting data out of your digitalized documents. Now, LLMs are a little different. These are large language models. They actually go one step further. So they are more intelligent. They can understand. They can summarize a document. They can rewrite it. They can review among other different processes. And they can tell you, for example, hey, something, this report is inconsistent. Or, for example, they can tell you, hey, somebody forgot to put this on your safety reviews. So, in other words, NLPs is about just finding a structured information, but LLMs is about understanding and explaining. So, we use all these kind of tools. So, in a combination, then we can help you to define solutions. Simple
Oh
as
my
that.
God. Yeah, you see, it's simple for us, but oh my God, it's overwhelming. Even just two of these agents, that's a lot of technical language, and it seems like there's a lot of stuff that could happen, and it's just all over the place.
Mhm,
And we're talking high level of the potential of what could work for your organization, for your project.
mhm.
However, it just sounds like so overwhelming. Even just these two agents that exist, there's so many more. So if someone were to want to install this AI or cloud tools or workflows, how could how could to extract real value from data input, how could one even begin to do this? Like, because it sounds really complicated. How could someone start to even begin to make this transformation?
Well, the good news is that the process is very simple. So the way we work, we have the three-step process. So the first step, obviously, is what we call a discovery call. So then that is where it's like we have just a simple conversation with you. I mean, so we take a look at maybe half an hour, or we don't need a lot of time. We just want to understand your process, your operation, the challenge, and we can understand where can these agents be a value of you. So that is the first step. After that call, the discovery call, we make an analysis and we send back to you saying, guys, I mean, this is what we understood of your process in your reality. And I said, this is what we feel is going to work with you and it's going to get the best return for the investment. So that was the first step. Then we have another step, which is the design. So we come back and we made the architecture for you. So you don't have to worry about it. So we identify the best tools that fit your reality. Maybe you don't have a cloud service, a private cloud service, or maybe you do. So then we work with you to install those in, I don't know if you have Amazon Web Services or Azure or Google. And then we start configuring all the different design, okay? Uh, this is the reason for that is because it has to be tailored to your scale, because obviously it has to fit in your ecosystem. Finally, becomes the implementation. So once it's configured, then we review everything with your team. We start documenting, we test it, we define the logic, we test the input, the outputs, And then we try to be as much transparent as possible because this is something new. We need to make sure that you are very comfortable with this process. And obviously, the documentation is extremely important because it has to be scalable. Because this is just the first steps into this new technology. And believe me, once you see the value, you're gonna want to grow. You're gonna want to expand these capabilities in maybe other areas. So
Mm.
then finally, we ensure everything runs smoothly. We have the right backups, disaster recoveries, monitors in place, you name it. Anyway, it's that simple.
Three-step sprint process, and none of your work is going to be disrupted. We use the perfect agile methods to make sure that when we're in testing phase, we do it on our end. When we're ready to implement, when we're ready to install, just switch it on and it works beautifully without even disrupting anything. And it's very
Exactly.
true. These systems are scalable incredibly, but I'm not gonna ask you to get married, on the first date. Definitely not. But I believe very much in starting small. And I know I can
Mm,
prove it to you. I know
that's
we can
true.
prove it to you with the right data architecture standards. Like you said, it has to be scalable. We can go on. It has to be reliable, optimized by cost, and secure. We can go on all about the pillars of cloud architecture. However,
Exactly.
that is a another conversation to have, and it's very true. So in okay, so actually speaking of now, Jorge Luis, about those what we were mentioning about these data architecture of cloud solution, let's maybe discuss what would happen. How secure is this? If I mean, computers they break. I mean, computers are can be dumb, and Wi-Fi gets cut off. What happens? Someone accidentally just unplugs the cord. What? How? Is there an exit strategy? What guarantees do you offer to ensure the model remains operational? Because we're not talking
Yes, I
about,
mean,
yeah.
obviously, I mean, when we design any kind of system, I mean, we need to take into account the continuity of the implementation. The continuity of the implementation means you need to have the right backups, we need to have the right alerts, the monitoring of the system. And you're right, I mean, there's no kind of system that is completely feel safe. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, yeah, I mean, anything can happen. If you, especially if you're in a mining operation or some of these construction places where you are in a remote place, anything can happen. So that's the reason why we need to establish the right monitoring tools, the right backups. And yes, I mean, that is something that is, it has to be in that way. So you have a very good disaster recovery. Like we set up CloudWatch, CloudFormation. So if something goes wrong, there is a backup ready to take it over. So you try to minimize at the most any downtime. But again, these systems they evolve, so little by little, the solution evolves with you. So, well, the system should work for you. I mean, so that is the good news.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you said something very, very, very insightful about CloudWatch, CloudFormation. These are
Mhm.
tools, services, and they're known in the community. However, as we know, installing it takes time, and you don't necessarily have to do it. But having the right solutions architect or the right growth partner who's here with you creating your service for you. We're gonna start small. We're not going to like we said, we believe in starting small and proving and showing the return on investment and showing that these solutions are boosting efficiency actually before we move on to any further phases. But within these first initial phases, the installation of cloud formation, that's just one service that
Mhm.
we know about. That is a really important base, and I think just
Exactly.
establishing a foundation, a framework, whether it's you're migrating to the cloud or you're just completely starting from scratch a new project and you want a whole new ecosystem. or whether you already have some services and you just want to make sure that they're more optimized within these first few phases. It's important to establish a nice base, and that's something that we value very dearly here at JJ Tech Innovations. So, Jorge Luis Bravo, I thank you so very much about this insightful conversation about document analysis and
Hmm.
efficiently integrating artificial intelligence into your workflows for any phase that you're at, best practices, and just how really simple the process is. 3 steps, we do all the work, and really, it's all tailored to you. That's kind of the difference between a consultation firm and a growth partner, right? Instead of us telling
Exactly.
you what to do, like, oh, I come into your business, you need to do this and you need that. We actually are building something with you. Well, anyways, we can go on and on all day. If someone would like to communicate with you, if someone wanted to find you and learn more about how they could integrate or begin this journey with artificial intelligence in their projects, how could they communicate with you?
Well, I guess they can visit us our website in jjtechinnovations.com, or they can actually send us a message through LinkedIn. I mean, I think that would be nice. I mean, to start the conversation. I mean, just maybe you have some questions, you still don't know exactly how it is, how long it takes, how much effort is that. We will be happy to just talk with you.
Absolutely, we would. Absolutely. So that's great. Down below in the comments, we're going to have our website posted. We're going to have our LinkedIn's, my LinkedIn, Jorge Luis's LinkedIn. So you can just have a quick click, take a look at us, and book your discovery call or check us out.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Jorge Luis. You have a wonderful night and a wonderful night to our audience as well.
Thank you. Bye.